Stop right there. Let me see your hands.
Wait. Don't shoot. I've just been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Alright, so purpose-built pistols. Today I'm going to be talking about the concept of building a pistol out with a specific purpose in mind and answering the question, can and should you build a pistol with certain uses, just like you would a rifle. So the why behind it is you can separate the use of your EDC with the purpose-built pistol and dedicate this pistol towards whatever you want it to be for, whether that's home defense, duty use if you're serving in a uniform, or taking it to pistol classes and saving your EDC pistol from all the use and abuse that it might get. All right, so once you've decided that you want to build a pistol with a certain purpose and use in mind, first question to answer is, what gun are you gonna go with? I went with a Glock 47, and just to show you, this is clear. And the reason for that is because it is a scaled up model of my EDC, the Glock 19. And I think that's a pretty important concept when you're considering building out a pistol with a specific purpose in mind. If your EDC handgun is a more compact version of something else, such as the 19 compared to the 47 or the 17, then my suggestion to you is go with the handgun that is a scaled up, sized up version of your EDC. And we'll talk about the reasons for that. The number one benefit is the manual of arms. It's exactly the same as your EDC, or pretty close to it if you can't get exactly the same. What I mean by that is the slide release, the magazine release, how you rack it, where all your furniture is on the handgun, it's almost, if not exactly the same as your EDC. And when it comes down to training consistencies, if you train a lot on your EDC, using this in your home or in a pistol class or whatever specific purpose you're building it out for, it's gonna be a one-to-one transition. You're not gonna have to retrain yourself to a new platform. So when I was considering other handguns, I was also throwing that in the mix of, if I'm going for an EDC handgun with the Glock 19, but I wanna use, let's say, a SIG for a home defense, I'm gonna have to relearn how it feels in my hand, how to do proper weapon presentation, all of the manual of arms behind it. And even though it might be slight differences, it could be a major change in a high stress scenario. So I went with a scaled up version of the 19, which in my case was the 47, or you can go with the 17 if you'd like. Another benefit to building out a separate handgun from your EDC handgun and using the scaled up version is that you're not constrained by the confines of concealability anymore. Now everything is sized up to increase your capability. You can use a bigger weapon light with more lumens. You can use a gas pedal thumb rest. You have a mag well that you don't have to worry about printing, and you can even use a larger magazine to increase your capacity. All of these things are just benefits to using a larger gun that you wouldn't otherwise be able to conceal. For me, I'm a little bit of a smaller person, so concealing the Glock 19 is about as large as I can get and as small as is still comfortable for me, but the Glock 47 is a great option for pistol course use and home defense use. So all of those things that I was missing out on with the Glock 19, I now have with this gun because it is larger and I don't have to worry about concealing it. Along with not having to worry about the restraints of concealing this larger weapon, you now have an increased capability with this gun simply because it is larger. What I mean by that is you can use a longer barrel, you have a longer sight radius, you have more ammo in your magazine, and since you have less felt recoil from a larger weapon, you can use a heavier grain defense round if you so choose. Having a separate weapon system aside from your EDC handgun is beneficial because you don't have to put unnecessary stress on your EDC handgun. Yes, you should absolutely train with your EDC and you should be probably more proficient with that than you are with this. But that being said, past a certain round count with your EDC handgun, why put extra stress on the parts and wear them down more when you don't really have to, and you could use this as kind of the beater duty build, if you will. Similar to that, you now have all cross-compatible parts. So if anything on your EDC handgun that you're carrying every single day should go down, almost everything on here can be swapped over to that gun, even the slide. With the Glock 47 and the Glock 19 Gen 5s, you can actually swap the slides out and form a Glock 49 and a Glock 45. So even being able to switch the slides and kind of decide on the day, what do I want to use? Or let's say my magazine release goes down or something breaks on my EDC, pull it off of this gun, put it in there until you can order a replacement. So there's tons of benefits to having this separate build. And I think it's really important to think about all the things that you might need an extra. All right, so now I'm gonna cover what my build consists of and what I have on here, just so you guys can see the what and why behind my personal home defense / pistol course duty build. So right off the top here, I have the new Holosun SCS carry. This is still in testing for me. It's very similar to the SCS MOS, except it's an enclosed optic. There's no battery. It is strictly solar charged, and I know that might freak a lot of people out, but I've had great success with the SCS MOS, and I really wanted to give this a try.
You cannot afford. Great success.
The only difference is I had to add a plate for this to be compatible with the MOS system. So again, still in testing, but so far so good. Next up, I got the Trijicon GL01s, just like on my EDC Glock 19. I still had that same issue where the rear sight was giving me a little bit of trouble after installation, and the zeroing process was just kind of wacky. So I am looking to replace that. I just haven't found a solid iron sight replacement that I like. Next up, I got the Cogworks extended and raised slide release, just like on my EDC Glock 19. Again, that manual of arms is exactly the same, so I don't have to worry about retraining myself or finding it in the dark. I just know exactly where it is because I put thousands of rounds through my EDC gun and close to it on this gun as well. But now I don't have to retrain how to release the slide or do a reload. Next, I got the Align Tactical Gas Pedal thumb rest on here, and this really helps mitigate recoil. I know this gun doesn't really need it because it already shoots pretty flat, but it's just one more thing that I can add on there to increase my capability that I otherwise couldn't because of some holster compatibility with the thumb rests and gas pedals. Moving on, I got the Enforce Wild 2. This has a lot more lumens and is a little bit bigger. It takes 2 batteries instead of just 1, unlike the Wild 1, but it's still CR123As, so that's pretty nice, and it is super bright. So I've had pretty good success with this so far.
Great success.
It's just something I was able to add because I had the home defense and pistol course specific uses in mind. So more lumens, more throw definitely helps out if I'm using this in the dark, either at a course or in my home. Inside, I have the Glock Performance trigger. I loved it so much on my EDC, I went out and bought another one and tossed it in here. Once again, no retraining of the trigger. I know exactly where the wall is. Break is super crisp, and I've just had a lot of good success with the Glock Performance trigger in both my guns. I have the Vickers Tactical Extended Magazine Release. I have that on both my guns as well. That has also really helped with not having to readjust my grip to conduct a reload. So it's just a little bit rounded and a little bit more surface area to reach for that when I'm doing a reload. I also have the kind of asphalt sandpaper grip, Talon grips on here, but I didn't have to do the goon tape trick to avoid scraping up my stomach because once again, I'm not concealing this, so that didn't have to be added on there as a consideration. So I really like how much grip and how much friction I get on just the sandpaper Talon grips. All right, moving on down, I have the SLR Rifleworks magazine well, and this thing has been pretty good so far. It isn't compatible with the Vickers tactical base plates, so kind of a bummer on that, but not a huge deal since I'm also using the Glock 19X magazines that hold 19 rounds. So I haven't really had an issue with it, but the mag well works really well. All right, moving on back, I have a chopped back strap, again, exactly like my Glock 19 EDC. That's just for consistency of grip, and it really helps get a really high grip on the back of the gun so that I can manage recoil as best as possible. I think it would be a great idea to add a comp to this, and I know Radian just came out with their ramjet and afterburner for the Glock 47 and the 17. I think that would be a fantastic option. Once again, just to reduce that recoil even more than it already is with a longer gun, more weight up front. Still testing out the SCS carry, so if this doesn't work, I'm gonna go with a different enclosed option. I just wanted to give this a try since I had so much success with the SCS MOS. And And then again, I do kind of plan on changing out the Trijicon GL01 iron sights, but for now, not an issue, especially because I'm using an enclosed optic that sits a little bit above the iron sights. I can't use them anyways. This is not the end-all be-all solution. I'm not saying you have to go out there and buy another gun, especially if it's not financially feasible for you in your situation. If you want to rely entirely on your EDC platform, that's totally fine, totally acceptable. I did that for a long time, and I just decided that this was something that I could seriously benefit from, so I pursued it. If you want to just use your EDC as the only handgun, the only pistol that you use for everything, that works very well. All I'm saying is, it is something to consider. It definitely has benefits to have an extra and a backup, and especially one that is so cross-compatible with your EDC gun. There's just so many benefits to having another one around, and I just wanted to portray that to you guys so that if it is something you've been struggling with or you've been questioning if you should get one, I definitely recommend it. Hopefully I never have to use it, but should I have to use it, I know I'm just as capable, if not more capable with this than I am my EDC, just simply because of the things I've been able to add on to it. All right, that's gonna do it for today, guys. Let me know what you think of the build, and if you have your own purpose-built pistol built out for home defense or pistol courses or duty build, whatever you wanna call it. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.